ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। आजानुलंबित भुजौ कनकावधातौ संकीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वम्भरौ द्विजवरौ युगधर्मपालौ वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणावतारौ। आनन्दलीलामय विग्रहाय हेमाभ्यदिव्यछविसुन्दराय तस्मै महाप्रेमरसप्रदाय चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते। जयति जयति देव कृष्ण चैतन्य चन्द्र जयति जयति कीर्तिस्तस्य नित्य पवित्रा जयति जयति भृत्यस्तस्य विश्वेशमूर्ते जयति जयति नृत्य तस्य सर्वप्रियाणाम्। हरे कृष्ण। Thank you very much, dear devotees, for joining and giving your valuable association as we continue our discussion on Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur's Sri Caitanya Bhagavat. So we are reading from the Adi Khanda of Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, and we are still on chapter number 2. And in the first session, this is session number 3. In the first session, we discussed about the author of Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, that is Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is a disciple of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. And we discussed the importance of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, how it is the first biography to be written on the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we saw in the first session how Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in his Chaitanya Charitamrit, he glorifies Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur and Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur's Chaitanya Bhagavat. How he says that Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Vedavyas Chaitanya Lila Ravyasa Vrindavan Das. How Vrindavan Das Thakur is the Vyasdev of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. Just like Srila Vyasdev is the author of Lord Krishna's Leela in Srimad Bhagavatam. So we saw the importance, we saw how Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur translated Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat and wrote commentary on that called Gaudiya Bhashya. And that is what we are reading from. So Bhumivati Prabhu, who is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, His Grace Bhumipati Prabhu, he has translated this into English from Bengali. And he has translated Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Bengali commentary, Gaudiya Bhashya, also into English. And that's what we are reading. In the second session, we saw how the different associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they appeared in the different areas of Bengal. And we discussed that just by hearing the names of all these associates of Mahaprabhu, like Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Haridas Thakur, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Shrivas Thakur, all these associates, when we hear about them, we become purified. Such is the power of the devotees of the Lord. And we saw how in Bengal and different places, these devotees took their births. And in today's session, we will continue our discussion on the background of the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in the next session, session 4, we will discuss about the birth and appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But today we will continue discussing what was the spiritual background and social political background, the circumstances under which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 500 years ago, approximately. Understanding this social, political, spiritual environment at that time is very essential to better appreciate Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's advent. So we'll continue reading from the second chapter of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. नाना स्थाने अवतीर्ण हैला भक्तगण नवद्वीपे आशीष भार हैला मिलना. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying that Nana Sthane Avatirna, in different places, we saw last time how in different places the associates appeared. So although the associates of the Lord appeared in different places in Bengal and outside Bengal, we saw how some appeared in Jagannath Puri, some appeared in South India, some appeared in the Western world, some appeared in East Bengal, some appeared in West Bengal, some appeared in Orissa. We saw how some appeared in Mithila. Raghupati Upadhyaya appeared in Mithila. So how all these devotees appeared in different places. Nana Sthane means different places. They appeared, but still Navadvipe Ashi Sabar. Still they all came to Navadvip. Even though they appeared in different places, somehow the circumstances all led them to Navadvip. Just like all of us. We are in different places, but the attraction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, see how Mahaprabhu is dancing as little Nimai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has attracted all of us. Naveen Prabhu and Yolanda Mataji are sitting in the West Coast, California. Mukta Sangha Prabhu, Ramsham Prabhu, Devahuti Mataji, Guduru Mataji and family. We are all sitting in different places. We have Kaivalya Prabhu, Brinda Mataji, all of you. My humble obeisances, Vatsala Mataji, Ajinkya Prabhu. So different places, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the center point of focus, and he has attracted all of us because we have Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in our center. Srila Prabhupada, he had centers in Los Angeles, in New York, Radha Govinda Dev. He had temple in Atlanta. He had temples in Bombay, in Paris, in London, Radha London Ishwar, Radha Paris Ishwar. He had temples in Africa. He had temples in Australia. He had temple in Seattle, in Canada. But when Srila Prabhupada had to make an international world headquarters of the Hare Krishna movement, which place did he choose? Mayapur, Navadvip. He said, this is the center of the spiritual world. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the center. That's why we have also all assembled today to hear about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates and their transcendental activities. Just by hearing Gaur Katha, we'll become purified and we'll get Krishna Prem. Navadvipe haiba prabhura avatar ataiva Navadvipe milana sabar. Because the Lord was going to appear in Navadvip, somehow or the other, all these devotees also came to Navadvip. Navadvipa hai nagram tribhuvan enai yahi avatirna hai la Chaitanya Gosai. We may or we may not understand the Bengali language, but the poetry is so sweet. Every verse is such sweet words and they're rhyming throughout. Thousands of verses like this. And Vrindavan Das Thakur composed Caitanya Bhagavat, this great book, when he was 28 years old. Vrindavan Das Thakur was we discussed in the first session, he was the youngest and the last disciple of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. He was initiated when he was hardly 23, 24 years old. And by the time he was 28, 29, he had completed the entire Caitanya Bhagavat. So therefore, when we hear Krishna Katha or when we meet devotees, we should not judge them by their age. This is a very important principle. One time, a devotee did not tell me directly, but told some other devotees with whom I'm connected. He said that a particular devotee is very young and he is giving a lot of classes, but I will not hear and I will not encourage anyone to hear his classes because he is very young. He is only in his 20s. This is not a good attitude because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can empower anyone to speak. I was very hurt when I heard that. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can empower anyone to speak. We should not judge devotees based on their age. For example, some speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam may be in his or her 20s or even teenage years. And we look at the devotee, we say, oh, this person is only 25 years old or 20 years old, and we judge. But that is wrong. Because in this body, that devotee is 25 years old. But do we know who that devotee was in the previous birth? Maybe he or she was a Prabhupada disciple or a disciple of Saraswati Thakur. Who knows? We don't know. But we know that without Krishna's mercy, one cannot be empowered to preach Krishna consciousness to others and inspire others. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Shripad Vallabhacharya, he says, Kalikale Yuga Dharma, Kalikale Dharma Krishna Nama Sankirtana, Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravartana. It's a very beautiful verse. Sripad Vallabhacharya, who later on became a great acharya in the Pushti Marg Sampradaya, in the Vallabhacharya Sampradaya, in the Vishnu Swami Sampradaya, he says that Kali Kale Dharma Krishna Nama Sankirtana. In Kali Yuga, the Dharma is Nam Sankirtan, Krishna Nam Sankirtan, and Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravartana. The Yuga Dharma is to chant congregationally Krishna Nam. And without Krishna's empowerment, it is not possible to spread Nam Sankirtan movement. So look around you. Anyone who is talking about Krishna Nam, about Krishna Leela, Krishna's qualities, anyone who is speaking on Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he is inspiring devotees, he or she is inspiring devotees, we must know that our Gaur Hari, our sweet Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is empowering that person. Lord Krishna is empowering that devotee. So if we are envious of that devotee, we are envious of Krishna. That same Shakti that is empowering us is empowering that devotee. We are trying to love Krishna, and that devotee is also trying to love Krishna. So why should we be envious of that devotee? Our Shastras explain that different types of people respect others based on different criteria. A Brahman will respect another Brahman based on the knowledge of Shastra. Therefore, there is Chaturvedi, there is Trivedi, there is Dvivedi. If you know the two Vedas, you are Dvivedi. You know three Vedas, you are Trivedi. You know four Vedas, you are Chaturvedi. Among Brahmins, you give respect based on spiritual knowledge of the scriptures. That's how they give respect. Somebody is more learned, oh, more respect. You know more verses, more respect. You know more puja paddhati, more respect. Kshatriyas give respect based on the strength. How strong you are, how well you can fight, how big an army you have, how big a kingdom you have. Based on military strength, you have one Akshayhoni, two Akshayhoni, three Akshayhoni. Based on that, they offer respect. Vaishyas offer respect based on money. Who has more money? If you are Karodpati, Arabpati, Lakpati, based on that, they will give respect. That is the Vaishya mentality. And Shudras give respect based on age. Simply based on age. You may not have any qualification, but because you are elder to me, I respect. Our Shastras explain this. Brahmins respect based on knowledge. Kshatriyas respect based on military strength. Vaishyas respect each other based on their monetary situation. And Shudras respect based on age. So what do Vaishnavas respect based on? How do Vaishnavas respect each other? On what basis? On the basis of advancement in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. When Parishit Maharaj had only 7 days to live, there was Narad Muni sitting there in the assembly. There was Vyasdev sitting. There was Suta Goswami sitting, who is also a disciple of Vedavyas. There was Vashishta Muni, Vishwamitra Muni. There was Parshuram sitting in the assembly. There was Angira Muni. There was Garga Muni sitting there. All these great rishis were sitting. And Shukdev Goswami comes. These other rishis and sadhus, they were much older than Shukdev Goswami. Parishit Maharaj was much more wealthier than Shukdev Goswami. There were many kings also sitting, many people sitting, sadhus sitting. They might be stronger than Shukdev Goswami, wealthier than Shukdev Goswami. And certainly everyone in that assembly was elder to Shukdev Goswami. Shukdev Goswami was only 16 years old. Narad Muni has been there from the beginning of creation. He is directly son of Brahma. Vyasdev is also very, very senior. Parasar Muni was sitting there. They are all very senior in age to Shukdev Goswami. But who was chosen to sit on the Vyasasan? Vyasdev was sitting there. But who was given the Vyasasan in the presence of Vyasdev? It was Shukdev Goswami. Why? Because Shukdev Goswami was spiritually more advanced than them. Because Shukdev Goswami is the personal parrot of Srimati Radharani. So Shukdev Goswami was given the Vyasasan. So therefore, we should respect each other as devotees based on spiritual advancement. And how do we understand who is spiritually advanced? Is it whether somebody is initiated? First initiation, second initiation, third initiation. Third initiation means sannyas. So it doesn't depend whether one is first initiated, second initiated, or third initiated. It doesn't depend whether one is a Bhakti Vriksha leader or not. It doesn't depend on how well we can sing. It doesn't even depend on how many verses we know. Our spiritual advancement depends on how much we are attached to Krishna. To the degree we are attached to Krishna, to the degree we have realized Krishna, to that degree we are advanced. So when we see a Vaishnava, how do we gauge if a devotee is truly advanced or not? There is a very simple criteria. Would you like to know? When we meet a devotee, how do we come to know whether this devotee is advanced or just this show? Of course, we should not judge devotees, but in our heart, we may not speak it openly, but in our heart, if we want to identify someone that we want to follow, that we want to learn from, that we want to associate with, we need to understand who is truly advanced. And there is a very simple criteria with which we can understand. Again, we are not judging, but we are trying to understand so that we can offer respect. Because in Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami says we have to give respect to the three categories of devotees accordingly. A person who is chanting Hare Krishna but not very advanced, Kanishtadhikari, we offer respects in our mind. A person who is Madhyamadhikari, who has got Prema Maitri Kripopeksha, who has got love for Krishna, who has got friendship with devotees, who has got Kripa, who is preaching to the innocent, and Upeksha, who is avoiding the envious. Such a Madhyamadhikari who is initiated into Mantra Diksha, Nam, Harinam Diksha, we offer our full prostrated obeisances to such a Vaishnava and we respect them. But a devotee who is Uttam Adhikari, who is completely addicted to Krishna, who is totally attached to Krishna, who has no tendency to criticize others, such a Uttam Adhikari who is completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Rupa Goswami says in Nectar of Instruction that we should humbly serve such a Vaishnava. We should humbly serve and sell ourselves to such a Vaishnava, to Uttam Adhikari. We should surrender to the Uttam Adhikari. So, Kanishta Adhikari, we offer respects in our mind, but we should not associate too closely. A Madhyam Adhikari, we fully offer our Dandavat Pranam to a Madhyam Adhikari and we cooperate with the Madhyam Adhikari. But Uttam Adhikari, we humbly serve Uttam Adhikari. And in ISKCON, what are we doing? We are all following the instructions and teachings of Srila Prabhupada, who is a Uttam Adhikari. We are simply following the instructions of our Guru Varga, who are Uttam Adhikaris. We should have faith like that. So, how do we understand whether a devotee is truly advanced or not? Please listen to this answer very carefully. Very simple way we can understand. A devotee is truly advanced if a devotee does not waste any time. Think about it. A devotee who does not waste any moment. And this is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. The exact words are avyartha kalatvam. Avyartha kalatvam. A genuinely advanced devotee will never waste time. Avyartha kalatvam. Nama gane sada ruchi. He will always have enthusiasm to hear Krishna Katha. He will have always enthusiasm to chant Hare Krishna. And he or she will never waste time. So Nama Gane Sada Ruchi always has attachment to chanting and hearing, and Avyartha Kalatvam will never waste time. Such a devotee is always Asha Baddha. Such a devotee is always hopeful and hope giving. Sometimes we associate with a devotee and we come out depressed. We come out depressed, disturbed. And that is not advanced devotee. When we associate with a genuinely advanced devotee, we always come out inspired. We always come out hopeful, Asha Baddha. Because an advanced devotee himself or herself, they are Asha Baddha. They are always hopeful that they will get Krishna. They are full of hope. They are always happy. Always happy. So remember, a truly advanced devotee will not waste time. If you see a devotee who is watching, wasting time, then we can understand that this devotee is not very advanced. Sorry to say, but this is Srimad Bhagavatam. Avyartha kalatvam is a sign of an advanced devotee. This is one criteria with which we can understand who is really advanced. And Nama Gane Sadaruchi, if Kirtan is going on and somebody is spaced out, chatting, watching, looking at the phone, when Kirtan is going on, Krishna Nam Sankirtan is going on, we can understand that definitely Nama Gane Sadaruchi is not there. So, Vasati Sthale, also advanced devotee will have a lot of attachment to the Dham. You can observe this point, whether the devotee is attached to the Dham. Otherwise, sometimes devotees say, Vrindavan, open nali, open sewage canals are there. There is too much crowd, too much dust. Chi, 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 chi. Vrindavan nahi jana hai. We don't want to go to Vrindavan. They look at the Dham like that. But Vasati Sthale, a truly advanced devotee wants to reside in Vrindavan. Whenever a truly advanced devotee will talk of Vrindavan or Navadvip or Jagannath Puri, the devotee will always speak very fondly. Oh, Jagannath Puri, there is Siddha Bakul, there is Haridas Thakur Samadhi. What a magical experience I had when I went there. That is a sign of a sincere devotee. Oh, when I went to Vrindavan, I went on Govardhan Parikrama. Oh, when will I be able to go back on Govardhan Parikrama? This is the sign of a truly advanced devotee. Vasati Sthale, always has attachment for Krishna's abode. Avartha Kalatvam, doesn't waste time. Namagane Sadaruchi, has got taste in chanting. And of course, will never criticize. Will never criticize other devotees. If you see somebody criticizing another devotee, when that devotee is not present there, you can easily understand that you should keep a distance from that devotee. If anyone criticizes a devotee, please don't associate with that devotee. I repeat, if any devotee is criticizing another devotee, don't give your heart to that devotee. You will suffer and you will fall down. Because that devotee is going to fall down. Never criticize another devotee. Never criticize another devotee. Rupa Goswami says, a truly advanced devotee is one who doesn't criticize. It is said that generally we should not praise somebody on their face. I repeat, it is said generally we should not praise somebody on their face. And one should not criticize somebody on their back. Hare Krishna. Think about it. If you want to criticize somebody or give a negative feedback, give it to them directly, one-on-one. If you want to give a negative feedback, give it on the face, one-on-one. And if you want to praise somebody, generally praise behind their back. So that the devotee may not directly hear his or her glorification, but will eventually come to know in a roundabout way. Like, suppose I tell, not suppose, I am telling, Mukta Sangha Prabhu, Ramsham Prabhu is such a sincere devotee, Prabhu. Don't tell him, but he's always so attentive, Prabhu. He's always taking notes in the class. He's always asking such nice questions. So Ramsham Prabhu is really a wonderful devotee, and Mukta Sangha Prabhu. I must tell you. Now Mukta Sangha Prabhu may tell Ramsham Prabhu that, Ramsham Prabhu, one devotee was saying that you are very attentive in class, you are very nice, sincere, simple, humble devotee. So Ramsham Prabhu will get encouragement because we all need encouragement. Not that we want to hear glorification, but every now and then we need some encouragement so that we come to know that we are on the right track. Isn't it? If nobody gives us a positive feedback, then how will we come to know whether we are making advancement or not? So we need some asha, we need some hope, right? And hope comes from appreciation. So as far as possible, we should appreciate indirectly, not too much on the face. Because if too much on the face, we glorify somebody, that person may become proud or egoistic. So not too much praise on the face. We should praise as far as possible behind the back. And as far as giving negative feedback is concerned, we should never do it behind the back. We should do it on the face directly. But the problem with us is we glorify on the face and we criticize on the back. That is just the opposite of what we need to do. So this we should remember. If anybody is criticizing, we should not associate with such a person. It doesn't matter whether that devotee is correct. What the devotee may be saying may be true. It might have happened. But if you are just left, right and center criticizing devotees, we must understand that we are in a diseased spiritual condition. A truly advanced devotee will never criticize others. There is no need. So in this way, we should associate with sincere devotees. Then we go to Navadvip again. So because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going to appear there, all sorts of opulences manifested in Navadvip. Our Vrindavan Das Thakur describes, first of all, there were hundreds and thousands of scholars who somehow or the other came to Navadvip, and there were dozens and dozens and dozens of very, very qualified high-class Brahmins to teach them. So Navadvip became a high seat of learning. Just like in America, we have Boston, where we have so many, especially in the Northeast, where we have so many Ivy League universities. We have Harvard, we have so many universities. We have MIT, we have Brown University, Cornell, Princeton, Columbia University, all Yale. All those great universities are there in that New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, area. So that is a high seat of learning, Boston. Similarly, in those days in India, there were two places which were high seats of learning. One was Varanasi and one was Navadvip. And Navadvip was even better. So Navadvip had many, many scholars. But Vrindavan Das Thakur describes the problem was these scholars were very proud, and all day they would discuss with each other different scriptures and fight about it, argue about it. No, my conclusion is better than your conclusion. And they would give evidence and fight and criticize each other. And they would miss the essence of all scriptures. The essence of all scriptures is to come to the point of loving Krishna, serving Krishna, becoming Krishna's devotee. But they forgot all that and they were simply arguing with each other. Rama drishta pate sarva loka sukhe vase vyartha kala yaya matra vyavhara rase. See this here? Vyartha kala. We just talked about avyartha kalatvam. A devotee does not waste time. And here they were just wasting their time arguing and discussing useless mundane topics. Krishna Rama Bhakti Shunya Sakala Samsara Prathama Kalite Haila Bhavishya Achara. They became Kali Achar. Their achar and their behavior was like those of people infected with Kali Yuga. Because Krishna Rama Bhakti Shunya. We have to become Aparadha Shunya. Aparadha Shunya hai laha Krishna Naam. Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dhana Pran, Nadi Ago Drume Nityananda Mahajan. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur sang. We have to become Aparadha Shunya. But they were Krishna Rama Bhakti Shunya Sakala Samsar Prathame Kalite Haila Bhavishya Achar. They were Bhakti Shunya. In spite of being learned in the scriptures. They were very proud. Dhana nashta kare putra kanya ra vibhave. Ei mata jagate ra vyartha kalayaya. So what would they do? Dhana nashta kare putra kanya ra vivahe. Vivaha means marriage. Putra kanya vivaha. In getting their sons and daughters married, dhana nashta kare. They were wasting their wealth in getting their children married in a very extravagant way. In a show-off way. Oh, you invited only 1,000 people for your child's marriage. I invited 2,000 people. In my child's marriage, 2,000 people ate. You had only Sandesh. I had Sandesh and Rasgulla in my child's marriage. And they would become puffed up. Oh, I'm better than you. Just see, when we become Bhakti Shunya, then we start chasing after all these mundane achievements. I was recently talking to one devotee and he was telling me, he's a very sincere devotee. Chants more than 64 rounds every day. Very, very sincere devotee. He was telling me, he's a disciple of Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. I will not name him, so he will feel very embarrassed. Very, very sincere devotee. He was telling me that I see so many people in the corporate world, they become very disturbed when someone who has joined the company after them and they get promotion. He sees in the corporate world, they become very disturbed. There is so much competition and sometimes even they will try to manipulate in such a way that they get the promotion, they get the project, they get a salary hike. They will try to show their performance is very good, and there is unhealthy competition. He said, but because of Krishna consciousness, these thoughts, very humbly he was saying, these thoughts don't even bother. These thoughts don't even bother. Why? Because there is a higher taste. He was saying, I just feel like serving devotees. I feel like sitting and chanting and hearing Harikatha. Even if I get the same salary for the rest of my working life, I'm satisfied. Because job is not very stressful and I'm able to do my bhajan. I'm able to chant my rounds. I'm able to worship my Shaligram Shilas. I'm able to attend the satsang. I'm able to hear Harikatha. Able to take care of my children, my family, my wife. So I'm satisfied. I can continue like this. I don't want any promotion, because with promotion there is more stress. Much more is expected. More meetings, this, that, and your time and energy is taken. As far as possible, sincere devotees should make sure that we don't have to work more than 8 hours in a day. We should try to get a job like that. Because bhajan is also very important. Once we get sucked into the rat race, my spiritual master Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj was saying one time that there is a rat race in this world. Everyone wants to get ahead, get promotion. I want to make $1 million and then so I can retire. I want to do this, I want to do that. They will start a side business and two jobs just because they want to earn more money and buy a bigger house and buy a more expensive car. It's a rat race. Like when I was growing up in India, there was an advertisement. I always tell this. Onida TV, Onida color TV had come out new. And their punchline, their slogan was Onida TV, neighbors envy, owner's pride. Something like that. Neighbors envy, owner's pride. This TV is so good that when through your window, the neighbors will peep into the house. They will see you have got this big color TV and they will become envious. Neighbors envy, owner's pride. So just see the mentality. Why should we invoke envy in others? It is such a sick mentality to think like that. Neighbor should envy. And I should become proud. Perfect recipe for a fall down. Perfect recipe for a spiritual fall down. You are bringing out envy in others, provoking envy, and you are becoming puffed up and proud. What can be worse than that? So that is what was happening in Navadvip. And then Vrindavan Thakur says, Yeba saba virakta tapasvi abhimani tana sabar mukhehana hika hari dhvani. Even Vrindavan Thakur is describing even so-called renunciates, those who were brahmacharis or those who were sannyasis or vanaprasthas, even they were not chanting Harinam. Think about this. Because they were abhimani. He says, Yeba saba virakta tapasvi abhimani. All the tapasvis and all the viraktas, renounced people, they were abhimani. So they had become proud of their renunciation. And they had become proud of their austerities. Once a devotee was telling Shripad Ayendra Prabhu in Vrindavan that Ayendra Prabhu, today it is Nirjala Ekadashi. I have not even drunk water, even Achaman I am doing just with one drop. I am following it very strictly because everyone should observe Nirjala Ekadashi, na, Ayendra Prabhu. But I see so many people, they are standing in the prasadam line on Nirjala Ekadashi. They are not observing Nirjala. They are still eating some fruits and Ekadashi Prasad. So when I see devotees eating Ekadashi Prasad on Nirjala Ekadashi, drinking water, drinking fruit juice, it is hard for me to respect them. He was being honest. He said, it's hard for me to respect them because I have been observing Nirjala Ekadashi, Nirjala, without drinking even water for so many years. So Shripad Ayendra Prabhu gave a very beautiful answer. Shripad Ayendra Prabhu said that for all you know, those devotees might have observed thousands of Nirjala Ekadashis in their previous lifetimes. And now Krishna has brought them to Vrindavan and Krishna is satisfied with their austerities and now Krishna wants them to have prasad. because they don't need to do Nirjala Ekadashi anymore. They have done their fair share of Nirjala Ekadashis. Why don't you think like this? Instead of saying, oh, it's difficult for me to respect them, think like this. What do you know? Who they were in their previous life? Do you know how many rounds they are chanting? Do you know how advanced they are? You don't know. Why are you judging them? You observe your Ekadashi, Nirjala, the way you want. But if your Nirjala Ekadashi is making you proud, that I am able to do Nirjala, others are not able to do. And the Guru said, then better you don't do Nirjala. You eat some fruits and chant extra rounds, because that will make you humble. There's a very nice story in this regard. It's a Puranic story where there was once a Brahman and he was very, very proud. He was very proud of his Gayatri mantra. He used to chant his Gayatri mantras at the correct Sandhya 3 times a day. He had never in his life, since he was initiated as a small child of 5 years old, since that day he had never missed his Gayatri. Never. And he was extremely proud of it. And he used to tell, last 60 years, I have never missed my Gayatri even once. I am such a Pakka Brahman. Every Ekadashi, I change my Brahmin thread. And Pakka, I am first class Brahman. So one day, he was invited for prasadam at a devotee's house. And he went, he had prasadam, and somehow he overate. In fact, His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Swami Maharaj in a lecture was telling on a funny note, he said, you are not a Brahmin worth your salt if you are invited for prasadam to somebody's house and you are able to walk out of that house on your 2 feet. You are not a Brahmin worth your salt. He was saying on a humorous side, he said, a Brahmin is that who eats so much when he is invited for prasadam to somebody's house that he cannot walk. He has to be carried on a palanquin out. That is a sign of a Pakka Brahman. He was just joking. But this Brahman, he overate. And what happens when we overeat? Nidra. Nidra chhadi utho jiva. We are not able to wake up. We sleep. So this Brahman who was very Pakka had never missed a Gayatri. After overeating, he slept that afternoon. And he slept through the evening. And the evening Gayatri time was passing away. You have a small window of 48 minutes. You have to do Gayatri in that window. And you have to take a bath, you have to wear clean clothes, put tilak, sit on an asan, sit facing the right direction, either east or north, and you have to chant your Gayatri. So it takes time. And that Sandhya time was passing away in the evening. But then Maya Devi herself came and whispered in that Brahman's ear, wake up, O Vipra, O Brahman, wake up. It's time for your Sandhya Vandan. So immediately this Brahman woke up. And he saw the time. Oh, it's time for Gayatri. Quickly, he went to the Ganga, took his bath, wore clothes, sat down and finished his Gayatri just in time. Just in time. So one of the servants of Maya Devi asked Maya Devi, this Brahman is a Pakka Brahman. He has never missed his Gayatri. He will certainly go back to Godhead. But today was an opportunity where he overate and he could have missed his Gayatri. So why did you wake him up? Your job is to test. You should have made him sleep even more. Your job is to test people before they go back to Godhead. Why did you wake him up? Why did you help him? You are not supposed to help like this. Why did you help him? So Maya Devi smiled. Maya Devi said, if I would not have woken him up, he would have missed his Gayatri and he would have become humbled. But by waking him up, now he feels that his vrat is intact and now he has become even more puffed up. He's become more proud, so he will never go back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. You see? So we have to be very careful. We can be proud of our austerities. We can be proud of our sadhana. Oh, I have never missed my Brahma Murta Japa. Just recently, last month, I think in December, last month, I was talking to one devotee and I told the devotee that, Prabhu, for so many years, last so many years, 3-4 years, I have to tell you honestly, Prabhu, I have never had to chant my 16 rounds after 7 a.m. I have always finished them before 7 a.m. Because I promised my Shiksha Guru, Mukunda Prabhu, that I will chant in the Brahma Murta. So like that, I was boasting. And literally the next day, I got food poisoning. And I had such a bad time. I was sick. First I thought it is COVID. Because COVID can also cause GI symptoms. I was having such a bad stomach virus. It was, I don't know what happened. I was the only one very, very sick in the family. And not that I ate something that others did not eat. So I think it is totally Krishna's mercy. I could not sleep all night. Every 1 hour I had to get up and answer nature's call, and I was exhausted. I was feeling dehydrated. I was feeling lightheaded. Every time I would get up from the bed, I would feel like I'm going to faint now. Somehow I had to drink water and keep hydrated. And sure enough, next day morning when I woke up, it was 9 o'clock. Hare Krishna. So I missed my Brahma Murta Japa just last month. And the next day also I missed. And the next day also I missed. I was sick for 3 days. And 3 days in a row, I could not chant my Brahma Murta Japa, to which I was so attached and of which I was so proud. Hare Krishna. But hopefully I was humbled by this experience. So now I can tell you that, no, I have missed my Brahma Murta Japa. But it is good. It is for our purification. But we have to be careful, dear devotees. We can be proud. If devotees appreciate our lectures, we can become proud of that. Devotees appreciate our singing in Kirtan, we can become proud of that. Devotees appreciate our deity worship, we can become proud of that. We can become proud of anything. We can become proud of anything. There are many stories in this regard, but I will not go because we will not be able to finish. So here Narad Muni says, आराधितो यदि हरेस्तपसा तथ किम, नाराधितो यदि हरेस्तपसा तथ किम, अंतर्बहिर्यदि हरेस्तपसा तथ किम, नांतर्बहिर्यदि हरेस्तपसा तथ किम. It's a very beautiful point which Saraswati Thakur is quoting in the purport to this verse, that how they became abhimani of their tapasya. So in Narad Pancharatra, Narad Muni says, Aradhito yadi haris tapasa tathakim. If one is sincerely worshipping Lord Hari, what is the use of doing tapasya? The fruit of tapasya is to get Krishna. But you have already obtained Krishna, you are already worshipping Krishna. What is the use of doing tapasya? Not required. Naradhito yadi haris tapasa tathakim. And he says, if you are not worshipping Hari, na aradhito. If you are not worshipping Lord Hari, then Baba, what is the use of your tapasya? So if you are worshipping Lord Hari, there is no need to do tapasya. And if you are not worshipping Hari, your tapasya is useless. So what is the use of doing tapasya? Then Narad Muni says, Antar bahir yadi haris tapasa tathakim. If you have realized that Krishna is inside and Krishna is outside, Krishna is everywhere. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravardate. Ito narsimha parato narsimha yato yato yamitato narsimha. Bahir narsimha hridaye narsimha narsingham adim sharanam prapade. So if you have understood that Hari is outside and inside, then bhai, what is the use of doing tapasya? Just worship Hari. And Narad Muni says, Nantar bahir yadi haris tapasa tatakim. And if you have not realized that Hari is everywhere, you cannot see Hari outside, you cannot see Hari inside, then what is the use of your tapasya? Gaur Gopal Prabhu says something similar. He says, don't worry. It's very famous. All of you must have seen. Why we should not worry? Because if it is something you can help, then why worry? If it is something that is you cannot help, it's out of your control, then why worry? Because anyway you cannot help the situation. So like that he says, basically don't worry, just do your best. So similarly Narad Muni is saying that there is no need to do unnecessary excessive tapasya. Tapasya is meant to purify us, tapasya is meant to discipline us, and tapasya is meant to help us control our senses. Like Srila Rupa Goswami says, Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jivha vegam, udaropastha vegam. You have to control these urges. And tapasya is that. Srila Prabhupada defined tapasya means to strictly follow the 4 regulative principles. So simple. To strictly follow the 4 regulative principles. That is tapasya in Kali Yuga. So we should do tapasya, yes, for purification. But we should not do excessive tapasya, excessive fasting, excessive vrat. At least the common general devotees should not do. There are certain devotees who can do, like Ayendra Prabhu. He used to do Chandrayan vrat. Have you heard of that? No? Ayendra Prabhu used to do Chandrayan vrat. It is scary to even hear what it is. You have to basically, to obtain Gaura Chandra, obtain Krishna Chandra, mercy, you have to follow the moon. So if it is Amausya, you don't eat anything. You do complete Nirjal. If it is, um, if it is, um, if it is, for example, Panchami, then you can eat 5 spoons or 5 morsels of food. If it is Shashti, 6 morsels. Saptami, 7 morsels. Ashtami, 8 morsels. Navami, 9 morsels in the whole day. And not like big. No, you have to be honest. Just morsel, what you can hold with your fingertips. 1 morsel. That's it. On Pratipada. On Dvitiya, 2 morsels. Tritiya, 3 morsels in the whole day, my dear friends. And on Purnima, 15 morsels in the whole day. In one normal meal that we eat much more than 15 morsels, isn't it? So this is the Chandrayaan Vrat. You have to do it for 1 full month. And then again, 14, 13 morsels, 12 morsels, 11 morsels, like that. And Ayendra Prabhu used to do it every year. I think he used to do it during Katyayani Vrat, something like that. The month after Kartik, he used to do that. Or maybe he used to do it in the Keshav Mas, Keshav Vrat. But he used to do the Chandrayaan Vrat. But this, my dear, and he used to lose weight in that month. You can imagine. And still he used to chant 116 rounds every day. And worship is 2000 plus Shaligram Shilas for 4.5 hours every day. And then worship Radha Sham Sundar in the temple, ISKCON Vrindavan temple also. And he used to sit and do Nam Sankirtan. So he was completely absorbed. But such devotees are extremely rare. But for lesser mortals like us, we should not do too much tapasya. And the reason, my dear friends, is our acharyas explain that it can make us grumpy. It can make us grumpy. Like I can tell all of you, because I know my wife is not there. I can tell you, when my wife does Nirjala Ekadashi, me and our kids, we all, even Amarendra Prabhu, we all keep distance from her. Because she can really get angry sometimes. So fasting can sometimes make us irritable. So we have to be careful. And our acharyas explain that this is why Durvas Muni is short-tempered, because Durvas Muni does a lot of severe austerities. Lot of fasting, penances. He's very austere. And harsh austerities can sometimes make us very grumpy and short-tempered. Another example is Saubhari Muni. Saubhari Muni was sitting underwater in Yamuna and doing severe, harsh austerities. And he had become short-tempered because of that. And therefore, when he saw Garud eating fish in that part of Yamuna, he cursed Garudji. If you come to this part of Yamuna again, you will immediately die. Imagine, to curse such an exalted devotee as Garud. And then Saubhari Muni, sure enough, he fell down. He fell victim to lust. So therefore, we understand from our scriptures. And Durvas Muni also, because of his intense fasting and austerities, he got angry at Ambarish Maharaj. How can you drink water? How can you do achaman? I had gone to the river to take a bath. I was sitting in the river, but I was not drinking the river water. And you, in my absence, you king, what do you think of yourself? You drank water. You were angry at Ambarish Maharaj. So therefore, excessive fasting, excessive austerities can sometimes make us short-tempered. So we have to be very careful, my dear friends. Our path of Krishna consciousness is Kevala Ananda Kanda. It is a path where our heart has to become soft and we want to serve devotees. We want to serve devotees. We want to speak sweetly to devotees. So if we are not able to manage our fasting, I think it is okay. I have heard this from our Gurugan. It is okay to eat some fruits, drink some water, some fruit juice, and better to do our services rather than saying that, oh, I cannot do service, I'm going to sleep now. Janmashtami, so many guests are coming in the temple. I'm fasting, I'm too weak in the evening, I cannot carry on. I'll just sit and chant in one place, or I will just go to sleep. No, better we eat and become energized by that Krishna Prasad and do our seva. Do our seva. That is more important. We will go back to Godhead by chanting Hare Krishna, not by fasting. Even in Caitanya Bhagavat, later on, we will see the story of a milk drinking brahmachari. There was a brahmachari, he came to Srinivas Thakur, he said, please allow me at night in your Srivas Angan, where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does the most confidential dancing. I want to see it. Please allow me. And I am very austere. I am a brahmachari since my childhood, and I have only drunk cow's milk since I was born. I have never eaten grains in my life. I am very austere. He was a milk drinking brahmachari. So Srivas Thakur was very impressed. My God, what purity! Because see, we lose our purity by eating here and there. We'll go and we'll eat some pani puri, which is not being offered to Krishna. We'll eat some biscuits, not being offered, which are not offered. And by simply eating that, we become contaminated. But this devotee has only drunk cow's milk all his life. His brahmachari, never fallen down. Very, very nice. Srivas Thakur said, okay, you come. But because you are not invited by Mahaprabhu, you cannot dance with Mahaprabhu, but you hide behind that basket and you can witness the dancing of Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu came and Mahaprabhu started kirtan, started dancing, and within few minutes, Mahaprabhu stopped. I don't feel ecstasy. There is somebody here who is not supposed to be here. Srivas, is there anyone here who is not supposed to be here? Srivas Thakur looked at Mahaprabhu and said, Mahaprabhu, there is no one here who is not devoted to Lord Vishnu. Srivas, tell me again, is there anyone who is not supposed to be here? Mahaprabhu, there is no one here who is not austere. Srivas, don't play games with me. Tell me, is there anyone here who is not supposed to be here? Mahaprabhu, there is no one here who breaks the regulative principles. Srivas, I am asking you for the last time. Is there anyone here who is not supposed to be here? Yes, Mahaprabhu, there is one young boy, but he's a brahmachari and he only drinks milk. Mahaprabhu roars. In fact, he's called Gaura Simha, like a lion. He roared. He said, it is not by drinking milk that you can go back to Godhead. It is not by drinking milk that you can obtain my mercy. He said, throw that milk drinking brahmachari out. It is only by bhakti that you can obtain my mercy. And Srivas Thakur went, he held that brahmachari by the neck and threw him out. And he folded his hands as he was being taken out. Sorry, Mahaprabhu, I should not have come here. Sorry. And Mahaprabhu was very pleased by his humility. So as soon as he was thrown out, Mahaprabhu smiled and called him inside. All right, you can come. So that brahmachari was brought before Mahaprabhu. And Srivas Thakur threw him at the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu picked him up and embraced him and told him that it is not by austerities that one can obtain. It is not by just drinking milk and following austerities that one can get Krishna. He said, Krishna, if you want to get, there is only one way, and that is to do sincere bhajan. And the best way of doing bhajan in Kali Yuga is Nam bhajan, Krishna Nam bhajan. He said, chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra constantly. By that, very easily you will get the lotus feet of Krishna. Not by fasting, not by doing austerities. So from that day, that brahmachari, he started eating anna, started eating Krishna prasad, and started chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And he was included in the inner circle of Mahaprabhu's associates. So in this we understand, it is not by tapasya that we can get Krishna. Bhaktya tvanannaya shakyaham evam vidhorjuna. Jnatum drashtum sa tattvena praveshtum sa parantapa. In Gita, Krishna says, only by bhakti one can enter into the mysteries of my understanding and see me as I am. Ati vada sukrati se snanera samaya govinda pundarikaksha nama ucharaya. Vrindavan Thakur is describing the situation in Navadvip. He says that the Brahmins were teaching you can only chant the names of Govinda and Pundarikaksha while taking bath. And only Brahmins can do that. Because while taking bath, when you chant these mantras, you become really purified. Om apavitra pavitro va sarvavastham gatopi va yahasmare pundarikaksha sabhaya vantara suchi. So, Govinda pundarikaksha nama ucharaya. Ati vada sukrati se snanera samaya. Only snana samaya. Only during bath. But then Mahaprabhu, later on, he will going to break all these nonsense rules. Nowhere in the scriptures it says like this. In fact, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sadatam kirtayanto ma. Always chant my name. Yadantasya drida vrata. In Shikshashtakam, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the second verse only, he will disprove this nonsense theory. Namnamakari bahuda nija sarva shakti tatrarpita niyamita smaranena kalaha etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdaivam iddishamiha janinanuragaha. Namnamakari bahuda nija sarva shaktis. Krishna has invested all his powers, not some Shakti, Sarva Shakti, in all the names. Like Krishna, Ram, Govinda, Hare. Namnamakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis, Tatra Arpita. All the strength has been invested in these names. Niyamita Smarane Na Kalaha. At any time you can chant. Satam Kirtayanto Mam. Always you can chant the name of Krishna. But that time, people were promoting, the Brahmins were promoting this, that only Brahmins can chant, and that also only during bath. Hare Krishna. Gita Bhagavata ye janete padaya bhakatira vyakyanana hitahara jivaya. Gita Bhagavata ye janete padaya. All the teachers who were teaching Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam also, bhaktira vyakyana nahi. They would not give a commentary of devotion. Even to scriptures, devotional scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. See, Bhagavad Gita is part of Bhakti Shastri. Everybody agrees? Bhagavad Gita is part of Bhakti Shastri. Srimad Bhagavatam is part of Bhakti Vaibhav. Because these are Bhakti Shastras. These are devotional scriptures. But the Pandits of that time in Navadvip, they were so misguided that they would teach Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam without referring to devotion. Can you believe that? Bhaktya tvanannaya shakya. Krishna is saying directly, manmana bhavamad bhakto. But they would comment on Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, savai pumsa paro dharmo yatho bhaktir adhokshaje ahaitukya pradhyata yatma suprasidati. They would comment on Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita without referring to devotional service. That was the situation there. Ei mata Vishnu Maya mohita samsara dekhi bhakta saba dukha bhavena apara. Seeing this situation, my dear friends, that people were wasting their money on useless so-called prestigious things like getting their kids married in a very opulent way. They were arguing with their own teachers. They were proud of their learning. They were proud of their austerities. They were not devoted to Krishna, and there were no topics of Nam Sankirtan. And even the name of Krishna was restricted by the Brahmins, saying that only Brahmins can chant, and that also only during bath. And not publicly. Not loudly, silently. So seeing all this, the devotees were very heartbroken. See? Sabe mile jagatere kare ashirvad, shighra Krishna chandra kara sabara prasad. They started praying that Krishna, please come, and sabara prasad, please give your mercy to all these people. Swakarya karena saba bhagavata gana Krishna puja ganga snana Krishnera kathana. But even though the atmosphere in Navadvip was so unfavorable for devotional service, but still the devotees who lived there, they followed all their devotional principles. Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying. And what were they? Swakarya karena saba bhagavata gana. The Bhagavad Gana were doing all their karya nicely. What is the karya of a devotee? Krishna puja, Ganga snana, Krishnera kathana. So simple. Krishna puja, worship Krishna's deity. Ganga snan, take bath in a holy river. And Krishnera kathana. Chant Krishna Nam and Krishna Katha. This the devotees were doing, but devotees are very few. Swakarya karena saba bhagavata gana Krishna puja Ganga snana Krishnera kathana. In this purport, here Saraswati Thakur writes, Nitai na balila mukhe majila samsara sukhe vidya kule ki karibe tara se sambandha nahi yaar vritha janma gelo tar se pashu bada durachara. Narottam Das Thakur's song is being quoted by Saraswati Thakur. He says, one who does not chant the name of Nityananda, Nitai na balila mukhe majila samsara sukhe. Such a person, one who doesn't chant, will naturally get absorbed in material enjoyment. So my dear friends, if we become lax in our practice of devotional service, we will be trapped by Maya. So we have to be on the side of Krishna at all times. In Kurukshetra, there are only two sides. Neither you are on the side of Duryodhan or you're on the side of Yudhishthir Maharaj. So we have to choose. So at every moment we have a choice. We can do something that will please Krishna, or we can do something that will displease Krishna. So we have to always make a choice by accepting things which are favorable for devotional service and rejecting that which is unfavorable. Anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya varjanam. But the devotees, although they were in such a unfavorable environment, the devotees continued. Which means, my dear friends, we may be at the place of our work, or we may be in a city where we don't have devotee association. But what does this verse of Caitanya Bhagavat teach us? No matter where we are, Prahlad Maharaj had no devotee association, but still he continued with chanting the names of Lord Vishnu and always remembering Lord Vishnu. So here we are being taught by Narottam Das Thakur and Vrindavan Das Thakur that Krishna Puja, Ganga Snana, Krishna Ra Kathana has to continue. Otherwise, se sambandha nahi yaar, vritha janma gelo tar, sei pashu bada durachara. If we are not Krishna conscious, we are not chanting the names of Gaur Nitai, then we are pashu. We are just like two-legged animals. Narottam Das Thakur is saying, and vyartha jivan, our life is useless, it's a waste. Kemane e jiva sab paibe uddhara, vishaya sukhete sab majila samsara. The devotees were praying, how will this world be delivered? People are so sinful, how will they be delivered? Sei navadvipe vaise vaishnava graganya advaita acharya nama sarva loke dhanya. This brings us to the point, oh Krishna, it's 8:45. This brings us to Advaita Acharya. So Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying, Sei navadvipe vaise vaishnava agraganya advaita acharya nama sarva loke dhanya. At such a time where everything was so much against Krishna consciousness, the whole environment was so much unfavorable for pure devotional service. At that time, we discussed that the Vaishnavas would come together and they would do their Nam Kirtan, Nam Bhajan, Krishna Katha, Ganga Snan. But who was the leader of those Vaishnavas? Who was Vaishnava Agraganya? Who was the leader of the Vaishnavas? Advaita Acharya. He was the leader of the Vaishnavas. Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying. Tribhuvane achayat shastrera prachar sarvatra vakhana Krishna pada bhakti sar. In all this atmosphere, it was our Advaita Acharya who would hold pravachan, classes on Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. And he would teach it Krishna pada bhakti sar. He would teach that the essence of everything is devotional service at the lotus feet of Krishna. It was uncompromising. Now listen. This is a famous verse. Tulasi manjari sahid gangara jale niravadhi seve Krishna mahakutuhale. With Ganga Jal and Tulsi leaves and Tulsi manjaris, he would worship very enthusiastically because he read in the Gautamiya Tantra a verse which later on Srila Sanatana Goswami will quote in Hari Bhakti Vilas also. This verse is very important. Tulasi dala matrena jalasya chulukena va vikrinite swam atmanam bhaktebhyo bhaktavatsalaha. Advaita Acharya found this verse, Tulasi dala matrena, just by taking one tulsi leaf. Tulasi dala matrena, jalasya chulukena va, and a handful of Ganga Jal. Vikrinite swamatmanam. Krishna sells himself to the devotee if we give him two items. One tulsi leaf and some Ganga Jal. Vikrinite swamatmanam bhaktebhyo bhaktavatsala. Krishna, who is Bhaktavatsal, he will sell himself to his devotee if we offer him tulasi dala matrena and jalasya chulukena va, just some handful of water. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. So Prabhupada, when he explains this verse, he explains in this verse, this leaf refers to tulsi leaf. So wherever we are, my dear friends, our homes are centrally heated, we can definitely cultivate Tulsi Maharani in our house. Just now we are coming from Chetan Prabhu's house, and they have such a beautiful um, garden, indoor garden of Tulsi plants. They actually just gifted us one Tulsi plant for our Shaligram and Govardhan Seva. So yes, devotees should cultivate Tulsi in their homes and offer Tulsi leaves to Krishna. Krishna will be very satisfied. As far as Ganga Jal is concerned, we can just take pure water that is available, and with our finger we can chant the mantra Gange Chayamune Chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jalasmin Sannidhim Kuru, and invoke the presence of all the waters of all the holy rivers and offer that water to Krishna. Or you can go to the Indian store and buy Ganga Jal. There is Gangotri water available in all the Indian stores. We can offer that to Krishna. But this is the proof from Hari Bhakti Vilas and Gautamya Tantra, our Vedic scriptures. Tulasi dala matrena jalasya chulukena va vikrinite samatmanam bhaktebhyo bhaktavatsalaha. So we must offer. So Advaita Acharya, when he read this verse in the Vedic scriptures, he just latched onto it. He just caught this one verse that Krishna will sell himself to me if I offer him Ganga Jal and Tulsi. And he had Shaligram Shila. He had a Narsimha Shaligram Shila. This Shila is still worshipped in Shantipur. So he had a Narsimha Shaligram Shila. Shaligrama Shila yantu sakshat Shri Krishna sevanam nityam sannihistas tatra vasudevo jagadguruho. It is mentioned in Padma Puran that Shaligrama Shila yantu sakshat Shri Krishna sevanam nityam sannihistas tatra vasudeva jagadguru. That Shaligram Shila is Sakshat Krishna. Nityam sannihistas tatra. There is no need to do prana pratishtha. When we get a murti of Krishna, Radha and Krishna, we have to do a ceremony called prana pratishtha, where a pure devotee comes and prays to Radha and Krishna to manifest themselves in that murti form. And they invoke the prana in that statue made of ashtadhatu or marble. And after that, they become Gaur-Nitai or they become Radha Krishna. But Padma Puran explains that Shaligram Shila does not, Govardhan Shila, Dwarka Shila, they don't require prana pratisthapana. They are eternally directly Krishna. Nityam sannihistas tatra Vasudeva. Vasudeva is directly present as Shaligram Shila. And Advaita Acharya, he had a Narsimha Shaligram Shila. And he was living in Shantipur on the banks of Ganga. And he had Tulsi garden also. So Advaita Acharya thought, wow, let me do this. I'm going to catch this essential verse and practice it. So with full faith, he offered his service to Shaligram Shila. Now here is a very sweet thing that Srila Prabhupada explains to us. Srila Prabhupada said, and this I heard from Srila Indradumna Swami Maharaj in one of his recent lectures. He said, Srila Prabhupada said about Shaligram Shila that Shaligram Shila is to be worshipped once a day. You touch the Shila only once a day. You massage Shaligram Shila with scented oil, sandalwood oil, scented oil you massage, and you bathe the Shaligram Shila with Ganga Jal, dry him, offer him Tulsi leaves. Tulsi Manjari is Tulsi leaves. And you can also offer some Chandan, sandalwood pulp. And this is first class Shaligram Seva. And then you offer them bhoga to eat, and that's it. So Prabhupada said Shaligram Shila should be touched only once a day. And then Shaligram Shila is just resting comfortably. But Advaita Acharya, he was worshipping Shaligram Shila day and night. Hare Krishna. Look at the sweetness of his mood. Because he said, I have to bring Krishna down because I have tried preaching to them. It is mentioned, Advaita Acharya, he preached. We just saw he was preaching Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. But nobody would listen to him. People were so arrogant. They would argue with him. Are Advaita Acharya, you are talking this from Srimad Bhagavatam, but in Devi Puran, it says like this. And they would argue with him. They would not listen to him. In Shiv Puran, it says Shivji is the supreme. What are you talking? Now he is himself Shankar Bhagwan. Advaita Acharya. So he could not preach to them. And in utter desperation, with earnest, prayerful mood, Advaita Acharya started calling out to the Lord, worshipping a Shaligram Shila with Ganga Jal and Tulsi leaves, and calling out to the Lord. So what he was doing? हुंकार करये कृष्ण आवेशे रतेजे ये ध्वनि ब्रह्मांड भेदी वैकुंठे ते भाजे. Listen to the beauty. Hunkara karaye Krishna aveshera teje. He started loudly calling out Krishna's names in great avesh, requesting Krishna to descend. Ye dhvani brahmanda bhedi. And this sound, this call of Advaita, it ripped through the coverings of Brahmanda. Our Brahmanda has got 8 layers. Bhumir apo nalo vayurkham mano buddhi revacha. Ahankar ityam me bhinna prakriti ashtala. These 8 layers are there. Through these 8 layers, it penetrated through the Brahmanda and went to Vaikuntha. So this is not decibels. It is not just the loud sound of Advaita Acharya that penetrated through the Brahmanda. It is the earnest calling, sincere calling of the heart that forced Krishna to descend. Ye premera hunkara shuniya Krishnanath bhakti vashe apane ye haila sakshat. When Krishna heard this, he decided to personally appear in response to Advaita Acharya's prayers. Ataiva Advaita Vaishnava Agraganya Nikhila Brahmandayara Bhakti Yoga Dhanya. Advaita Acharya Vrindavan Thakur is saying is the topmost devotee. There is no comparison to him. Ei mata Advaita Vaisena Nadiyae Bhakti Yoga Shunya Loka Dekhi Dukha Pae. In this way, Advaita Acharya resided there in Navadvip, day and night worshipping his Shaligram Shila, not once a day. Day and night he was worshipping Shaligram Shila, calling out to the Lord to please descend. Why? Not for himself. Advaita Acharya himself had found his Sadguru. He was an initiated disciple of Madhavendra Puri Maharaj. He had a very beautiful wife, Sita Thakurani, who is an incarnation of the Yoga Maya potency of Krishna. And he was living happily in Navadvip. He was completely self-realized. He was completely blissful in his own Krishna consciousness. But a Vaishnava is para dukkha dukkhi. Seeing the people who were suffering, leading a completely materialistic life, Advaita Acharya was heartbroken. And it was for them that he was praying. Krishna shunya mangale devera nahi sukha vishesha advaita mane paya bada dukha. Seeing people engaged in materialistic activities, Advaita Acharya became very dukhi, very sad. Swabhave Advaita bada karunya hridaya jivera uddhara chinte haya sadaya. Advaita Acharya by nature was very compassionate and his heart was broken seeing the materialistic life that all the living entities around him were living. Mora Prabhu Ashi Adi Kare Avatar Tabe Haya Esakala Jivera Uddhar. Advaita Acharya told Srivas Thakur and other devotees, if my Prabhu descends, then Jivera Uddhar. All these living entities will be delivered. Tabeta Advaita Simha Amara Badai Vaikuntha Vallabha Yadi Dekhai Hetai. He said, I will call myself Advaita Simha, the lion among the Brahmanas, only if I am able to make my Lord descend so that all these people are delivered. Aniya Vaikuntha Natha Sakshata Kariya Nachi Bagai Basarva Jiva Uddhariya. Advaita Acharya said, when my Lord will descend and everyone will be delivered, at that time, Nachiya Gaiya. We will be with great happiness, we will dance and sing together. Niravadhi ei mata sankalpa kariya sevena Shri Krishna pada eka chitta hayya. In this way, making his determination very strong with eka chitta, with one pointed determination. Vyavasayatmika buddhi reke hai kuru nandana bahushaka hi anantasya avyavasayina. So, because he was eka chitta, he was one pointed in his determination. In this way, Advaita Acharya continued his worship and continued to call out to the Lord with great earnestness. At that time, Srivas Thakur was living with his 4 brothers in Navadvip. and he was also worshipping. 3 times a day he was taking bath in Ganga, and he was also praying for Mahaprabhu to descend. And at that time, my dear friends, after being abused, after being ill-treated at various places, one particular devotee arrived in Shantipur. And his name is Thakur Haridas, Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur appeared in East Bengal. He was born in a Muslim family. But from his childhood, because he is Lord Brahma, from his childhood, he was completely devoted to Krishna. There is no mention of who was the guru of Haridas Thakur. His guru was directly Krishna. Lord Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes this. Krishna himself initiated him when he was as Brahma. He came to Navadvip. After the Brahma Vimohan Lila, Brahmaji was full of guilt. So he came to Navadvip and he did tapasya. At that time, Lord Krishna appeared to Brahmaji and gave him the darshan of Gaura Sundar, Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He said, I will appear in next yuga as Gauranga Mahaprabhu. You appear. My purpose will be to preach the glories of the holy name. And you appear as the Namacharya. I will make you the Namacharya. So you come as Haridas Thakur. But Haridas Thakur said, but Brahmaji said, I am very proud. So please give me a very humble birth. Mahaprabhu said, don't worry. You will be born in a meat-eating family, a mlecha family. But you will never eat meat. You will be completely devoted to me. And you chant 3 lakh names of this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In this way, Lord Krishna himself initiated Haridas Thakur and told him the vows of initiation also. Imagine getting initiated, and the vows of initiation are, from today I will chant 192 rounds every day. That was the vows of initiation of Haridas Thakur. So he came, and wherever he went, he was in Fulia. There he was attacked and beaten by the Qazi, whipped in 22 marketplaces. The whole road was smeared with his blood. He was put in jail. He was thrown in the Ganga. Then he came to Benapol. There Ramchandra Khan became envious of him. He sent a prostitute named Laksha Hira to make him fall down. But Haridas Thakur, by his purity, converted that prostitute Laksha Hira into Haridasi and initiated her also and left. Then he went to Chandpur. He was living in the house of Yadunandan Acharya and Balram Acharya, who were the gurus of Govardhan and Hiranya Majumdar, the parents, the uncle, father and uncle of Raghunath Das Goswami. And he was invited to give a class on the glories of the holy name in the court of the Majumdars, Hiranya and Govardhan Majumdar. And there poor Haridas Thakur was giving a class on the glories of the holy name, and another man stood up called Gopal Chakravarti. All these stories are coming in the future in Caitanya Bhagavat. We'll discuss them in detail. I'm just giving a synopsis. So Gopal Chakravarti, after hearing the glories of holy name from Haridas Thakur, he stood up and he said, now I understand Kali Yuga has really started. Because this meat-eating mlecha, this low-class person who is not even in the 4 varnas of Varnashram Dharma, he is outside of the Varnashram system. He is speaking on the Vedas. Now I have to hear the Vedas from this mlecha. Oh, now I can understand. Really, Kali Yuga has started. In this way, he criticized Haridas Thakur. You are saying that mukti is an insignificant byproduct of chanting Namabhas? What are you saying, Haridas Thakur? The aim of life is to get mukti. And you are saying mukti is an insignificant byproduct of chanting Harina? This is nonsense. What you are saying is not true. And because what you are saying is not true, your nose and your ears will fall off with leprosy. But it was Gopal Chakravarti whose nose fell down because of leprosy, because he offended Haridas Thakur. But Haridas Thakur was very deeply pained that Gopal Chakravarti had to suffer like this. So Haridas Thakur left Benapol also. In this way, after traveling to many places, finally Haridas Thakur came to Shantipur. And there he met Advaita Acharya on the banks of Ganga. Advaita Acharya could immediately understand that this is a very advanced devotee. Now my question to all of you is, my dear friends, how did Advaita Acharya know that Haridas Thakur is truly advanced devotee? Avyartha kalatvam. When Advaita Acharya looked at Haridas Thakur, his cheeks were constantly moving. He would be taking his bath in Ganga. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. All day, all night, constantly. Avyartha kalatam. Haridas Thakur did not waste a single moment. He was always chanting Harinam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Never criticized anybody. Was always amanina manadena. Was very humble and tolerant. Trinadapi sunichena taroriva sahishnava. Advaita Acharya said that Haridas Thakur is the perfect personification of Trinadapi sunichena taroriva sahishnava. Amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. So Advaita Acharya, with his own hands, he told Haridas Thakur, I want to make a place for you to reside in Shantipur. Stay near my house in Shantipur. Don't leave. In fact, Advaita Prabhu said, stay in my house. Haridas Thakur said, no, it will become a big controversy. I am a mlecha. You are the topmost Brahman. You are a Brahman Agraganya. If I stay with you, it will become a big controversy. So I will live. I have always lived in caves. So I will live in a cave. Can you believe Advaita Acharya with his own hands, he prepared a cave. He dug a cave on the bank of Ganga for Haridas Thakur. So Haridas Thakur would have easy access to Ganga, to bathe, to drink water, and sit and chant at a holy place on the banks of Ganga. And Advaita Acharya with his own hands, he would every day bring Krishna Prasad offered to his Shaligram Shilas, cooked by his wife, Sita Thakurani. Every day Advaita Acharya would bring a plate of prasadam for Haridas Thakur. Every day Advaita Acharya would sit with Haridas Thakur. They would chant together. They would discuss Krishna Katha together. Every single day. Every single day. And Advaita Acharya gave full protection to Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was ill-treated everywhere, wherever he went, but not in Shantipur. In Shantipur, he was under the care of Advaita Acharya. And Vrindavan Das Thakur describes that Haridas Thakur was sitting on the bank of Ganga all day, all night. He was chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, not for himself. Haridas Thakur was already liberated. He was self-realized, but he was praying for all of us. And on the bank of Ganga, next to Haridas Thakur was sitting Advaita Acharya with his Shaligram Shila and Tulsi leaves and Ganga Jal and worshipping, also praying for Mahaprabhu to come. So Vrindavan Das Thakur says these three devotees, Srivas Thakur with his brothers, Haridas Thakur in his cave on the bank of Ganga, and Advaita Acharya with his Shaligram Shila on the bank of Ganga. These three devotees were calling out to Mahaprabhu to descend. They were calling out for Krishna Balram to descend. Advaita Acharya was 52 years elder to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Haridas Thakur was 35 years elder to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So all these years, Haridas Thakur and Advaita Acharya were praying for Mahaprabhu to descend and Nityananda Prabhu to descend, for Krishna Balram to descend. And here our Acharyas explain that just see, the modality of worship was different for all of them. Srivas Thakur by 3 times going to Ganga and bathing and praying in the water of Ganga. Advaita Acharya by worshipping Shaligram Shila, and Haridas Thakur by doing Nam Japa. 3 different techniques. Srivas Thakur by worshipping Ganga, Advaita Acharya by worshipping Shaligram Shila, and Haridas Thakur by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. 3 devotees, 3 different methods of worship, but they had the same mood. They had the same mood of inviting Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu down to this planet so that the whole world can be delivered. So same purpose. So similarly, my dear friends, in Krishna consciousness, we may have different moods. Some may be more attached to reading Shastra. Some may be more attached to distributing books. Some may be more attached to chanting extra rounds. Some will be attached to kirtan. Isn't it? Of course, we all like all these things, but we may have our special forte. We may have our special affinity. Isn't it? So we should not judge devotees because of this. You see how these 3 devotees are working cooperatively for the same purpose. Srivas Thakur by worshipping Ganga and praying to Ganga that please bring Mahaprabhu down. Advaita Acharya by worshipping Shaligram Shila with Ganga Jal and Tulsi leaves to call Mahaprabhu down. And Haridas Thakur intensely day and night chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, not for himself, but for all of us. For all of us. And who are these people? Srivas Thakur is Narad Muni. His brother Ramay Pandit is Parvat Muni. Advaita Acharya is Mahavishnu and Sadashiv. And Haridas Thakur is Brahma. So Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and Narad Muni and Parvat Muni are praying, my dear friends, in Navadvip for Mahaprabhu to descend. Now let us see in the next class what happens after that. When these stalwart devotees have come together now, assembled in Navadvip, praying for Mahaprabhu to descend, not for their selfish interest, but for all of us. We'll see next time what happens. Thank you very much. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Right. Prabhu, is there time for question?
I have time, Prabhu.
So can I ask you a question, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Go ahead. Jai Srila Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhu. It's wonderful. So this is regarding the Avyarta Kalatvam and Magane Sadaruchi.
Yes, Prabhu.
So most of us, I mean, including me, we are all in Grihastha Ashram, and these things could be more practical, applied practically if either both the parties or all the parties in Grihastha Ashram are on the same page. Otherwise, it's going to be really tough, most of the time. And if either of the spouse says that, okay, let's go for a walk or a ride, or let's watch a movie or whatever. So to keep the harmony, we actually have to adjust, so that means even you being very serious, so you are wasting time. Okay, so that means we don't follow this. We are forced to not follow.
No, Prabhu, not like that. So you are absolutely right that when the spouse is not on the same page, or the spouse is not having the same intensity in bhakti, there will be a mismatch. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right that we may have to go for a walk, or we may even have to, in extreme cases, unfortunate cases, we may even have to go for a movie, or we may even have to go to a restaurant. Hare Krishna. You are absolutely right, Mukta Sangha Prabhu. But even when we go for a walk, for a movie, or to a restaurant, we don't have to forget Krishna. In that situation also, we can intensely call out to Krishna that, Krishna, I would rather sit in the temple with devotees. I would rather sit in satsang and chant Krishna Nam, chant your names, hear your Krishna Katha. But what to do? Somehow I have to come here. But please inspire my spouse. Attract his or her heart towards you so that we don't have to do this again. And in this way, internally, we have to burn. We become more purified by going on a walk and remembering Krishna, or going to a movie and sitting in that dark room, just sitting there, pretending to be there and having a good time, but internally calling out to Krishna, that Krishna, please deliver me from this situation. Please attract him or her to your lotus feet. When we call out like that, that calling is more pleasing to Krishna than someone sitting in the temple and absent-mindedly, without, completely inattentively chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. You are sitting in the temple, but that intense calling is not there. What did Advaita Acharya do? Intense calling. What did Srivas Thakur do? Intense calling. What was Haridas Thakur doing? Intense calling. So sometimes we may have to compromise on the externals, but nobody can force us to compromise on the internals. You see? Prahlad Maharaj was with demons, but internally, nobody could stop. There is, therefore, ahaytuki apratihata. Atma suprasidati. Bhakti is apratihata. How it can be apratihata? Because bhakti is an internal matter. Radharani is also sitting in the house with Jatila, Kutila, and Abhimanyu. But Radharani and her Sakhis, they are always remembering Krishna. So therefore, when impediments come in the life of devotees, whether it is health crisis, financial crisis, or family members not cooperating, these are external hindrances. But the external hindrances increase internal union with Krishna. I will tell you a personal story. My wife is also there on the call now. She just joined. maybe he will chastise me, but I have to share this story. It's a personal story. So when we were in medical school, we were engaged, and we used to go for movies and everything. But then I joined ISKCON, and I was told no movies. But how to convince her? Because we were going to get married in some time. So how to convince her? So I could not. So I still remember once we were in Bombay and one new movie came. So she told me that, Radhava told me that, can we go for that movie? Because we used to go before. Can we go? So I went and asked my counselor. I went and I will not tell the name. You all know that devotee. He is very great. I went and asked him, and he told me what to do now. What to do? You go, but when you see the hero and heroine running around trees and singing and all that, you pray to Radha Gopinath. That, my dear Radha Gopinath, I would rather sit in front of you and attend a nice kirtan, watch your Shayan Aarti at night, in the evening, chant in front of you, sitting next to Prabhupada. But what to do? I am here. So please inspire my wife also to surrender to your lotus feet, so that I never have to come into a movie theater like that. He said, throughout the 2 hours or 2.5 hours in the cinema hall, you pray like this. He instructed me, you pray like this. And Prabhu, I'm telling you, I prayed, and that was the last movie we saw together. Hare Krishna. Radha Gopinath are witness to this. That was the last movie we saw together. After that, there was New Year's Eve, and Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj was giving a class, and I tricked her. I said, let's go for a New Year's party. And I took her, but I said, you have to wear Indian clothes. And, we went, and there she attended the kirtan and lecture. And after the end of the lecture, my wife told me that I want to surrender my life at the lotus feet of this holy man, whoever he is. Whatever he said was just, it went straight to my heart. So like that. So we may have to go sometimes, but internally, we must call out to Krishna. So therefore, I will repeat, when there are external hindrances, external obstacles to a devotee, those external obstacles will facilitate and deepen the internal union with Krishna. So whenever we see devotees facing trouble, whether it is Mirabai, whether it is Haridas Thakur, whether it is Prahlad Maharaj, whether it is Dhruv Maharaj, whenever there are external problems, there are never internal problems to their devotion. You see, whenever there are external hindrances, there is never an internal hindrance to the practice of Krishna consciousness. And therefore, we say that there is no impediment for bhakti. It is apratihata. It is uninterrupted. There cannot be an interruption to bhakti, because bhakti is an internal state of consciousness. We can be sitting in a movie hall and intensely remembering the lotus feet of Radha Gopinath. You see? And that kind of internal burning is more pleasing to Krishna, and Krishna will reciprocate. But on the other hand, we see that many materialistic people, externally, they have everything very favorable. Have you seen? They will get promotions, they will go on very nice vacations, and they will come and say, oh, it was a dream vacation. I didn't want to come back. I didn't want to come back. They will say, they will boast about their material enjoyments. Oh, I did this, I went that, I rented that house. It was so fantastic. We had such a good time. So externally, we may say there are no problems in their life. But internally, they are so far away from Krishna. You see? Whereas a devotee may have external difficulties in life, but internally, there is strong union with Krishna. And how this can happen, Mukta Sangha Prabhu? This can only happen because Krishna is in our heart. That is the difference between a materialist and a devotee. This is very important. A materialist may want something or someone. For example, someone may really want to become a CEO of a company, or someone may really want a degree from a particular university, or someone may want $1 million, or someone may want a particular person as one's spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend, right? And when they don't get, naturally they feel separation. In the material world also, they feel separation. They cry. That's why there are so many songs, blues, all those Kishore Ki Yadein and all the Hindi songs also, Bollywood also. If you see Bollywood, Hollywood, majority songs are about heartbreaks and separations. The blue songs. Why? Because even in the material world, there is a separation. But what is the problem? When there is separation from these material pursuits, those material pursuits are not living in the heart as Paramatma. But when a devotee feels separation from Radha and Krishna, there is internal union. Why? Because Radha and Krishna are in the heart. Ishvara sarvabhutana mrideshe Arjuna tishtati. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto. So that is the advantage that we have. When we have separation, internally Krishna is sitting. So internally there can be union. But when a materialist feels separation from material pursuits, there cannot be an internal union. So their separation is only pain, only pain, only pain. And our separation is kevala ananda kanda. That is the difference. Our separation is blissful internally. So this is the difference between them and us. So internally there can be no impediment. Is that okay?
Wonderful, Prabhu. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
Ajinkya Prabhu, you want to go ahead?
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, thank you very much for such a wonderful class. So many practical tips which were unheard before. Thank you so much. So Prabhu, recently actually I heard in one class that Jagai and Madhai were actually the fourth incarnation of Jai and Vijay. So actually, I had heard for the first time, because I had always heard that Jai and Vijay only took 3 incarnations, but this fourth incarnation of Jagai and Madhai I heard for the first time. So I was little curious to know that, like, is there any, like, where in the scripture it comes that they came for the fourth time as Jagai and Madhai?
I will send you the scriptural reference.
Okay.
But it is mentioned in our scriptures, either in Caitanya Bhagavat, I'll have to see exactly, or is it Chaitanya Charitamrita or Chaitanya Mangal. But all our acharyas say that Jagai and Madhai were reincarnations of Jai and Vijay. And they were only supposed to take 3 births, right?
Right.
But even after those 3 births, they went back, but they did not get Vraj Bhakti. And when they heard that Mahaprabhu is coming to give Vraj Bhakti, Krishna Prema Pradaya, then they begged that can we also come. So then Mahaprabhu gladly accepted and brought them and used them to preach the glories of the holy name. That holy name can transform even the most hardcore criminals also. But I will share you I don't have the exact reference of the verses where it says. But all the acharyas say. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada, all our Gurugan, everyone says. So just based on the words of Sadhu, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, all 3, we can accept it. But I will try to find the verse and send it to you.
Okay.
But it is true that they were Jai and Vijay, reincarnated.
Sure. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Devahuti Mataji and then Vatsala Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Your classes is so much inspiring me a lot, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have a question, and I want to hear it, that question. I want to hear from you, Prabhuji, the answer. What happened in our daily sadhana, that what we did. Someday, I feel we have Radha Govindji deity at our home, so we worship them. So someday, I feel that I'm so much attached to them, so much affection I have them. But then someday, that something happened in house or some kids or some stress, and then we feel some separation from them, and we don't get that interest or we don't get that mood. So I feel is that the Radha Govind is get mad or not happy with my service, how do I understand that mood, that that, or it should be constant happiness every time, or sometimes that changes comes in a mood, sometimes we feel away from them, and sometimes we feel you understand, Prabhu, what I'm trying to say?
Yes. There are so our bhakti is shaky. Our bhakti is shaky, but we have to make our bhakti steady. We have to become steady in our bhakti. So our bhakti goes like this. Sometimes up, sometimes down. Sometimes up, sometimes down. So how to not go up and down, how to remain like that, going up and up and up and up. There are certain do's and don'ts that we have to follow. One is do's first. We have to be very, very sincere in our sadhana. Every day we must chant during Brahma Muhurta attentively. And you are joining the session, so thank you very much. Very grateful. So we should chant very attentively, at least minimum 16 rounds in the Brahma Muhurta before 7 o'clock in the morning, because that is the most suitable period for Krishna consciousness. The 2 hours before, 4 to 6 or 4:30 to 6:30 in the morning, those 2 hours are supercharged with Krishna consciousness. It is very easy to connect with Krishna in those 2 hours. So we must tap into that. So just like the day is there, different periods of the day are predominated by different modes of material nature. There is mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. In the morning during Brahma Muhurta, this 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock, it is naturally mode of goodness. After 7 o'clock, generally, after 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, mode of passion starts. Everybody starts getting ready. They go to school, they go to office, work, earn money. So mode of passion is there. And at night, mainly people are watching TV. Some people drink wine, or they, eat or do other things. So at night, so it's mode of ignorance. You see? So in the daytime also, the different modes are predominating. So in the morning, mode of goodness is predominant. So we should make maximum use of that. We should do our morning bhajan in the early morning. So our sadhana should be punctual and it should be regular. That is one thing that we can do. Second thing, the most common reason why we may experience that our deities are not happy, or we are not feeling happiness serving them, we are not feeling satisfaction serving them, it is either because of eating something that is not prasad, eating something that has not been offered to Radha Govinda. We can take a vrat that I will not eat anything that has not been offered to Radha Govinda. That way you will develop your ananyata towards your deities. You see, you are becoming so chaste to them. Now your Radha Govinda, they will see at you and they will say, look, our Devahuti Devi, she doesn't eat anything that is not our Uchishta, that is not our remnant. How they will feel towards you. Look at this devotee. She doesn't eat anything that has not been offered to us. She is our Ananya Bhakta. She is our one-pointed devotee. She chants all her rounds sitting in front of us. Oh, she's so sincere. So in this way, we have to sell ourselves to our deities. Generally, that feeling comes when we feel the deities are not happy because we have eaten something that is not their uchishta, that is not their remnants. So, of course, when we go for programs, we can eat what the devotees have cooked because they are offering it to their deities. Or sometimes, if possible, we can even take our deities with us and offer them. But one should, as far as possible, eat only the remnants of one's deities. I was once talking to His Holiness Prabodhananda Saraswati Maharaj. He's one of the sannyasis in our ISKCON, and he's a disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Now, Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj is very, very exemplary in many things. One of the exemplary aspects of Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj is his deity worship. He has got many Shaligram Shilas, Dwarka Shilas, and Narsingha Bhagwan. And every morning he chants his 16 rounds in front of them. He attends the temple morning program. He has never missed Mangal Aarti in his 50 years of service and never misses his morning seva, Shaligram Seva, his puja. I have personally seen how he worships them and offers Aarti and everything. So Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur also, Prabodhananda Saraswati Maharaj also, following in the footsteps of his Guru Maharaj, he had 108 Shaligram Shilas. And he was living as a brahmachari in Krishna Balram Mandir in Vrindavan for many years in the brahmachari ashram. And he used to worship his 108 Shaligram Shilas every day after chanting his 16 rounds, his morning program. And then he would personally cook for them, offer them, and he would only eat what he had cooked and offered to his Shaligram Shilas. That was his vrat. And he followed it throughout his brahmachari career. Then when Gopal Krishna Maharaj told him, now you take sannyas, he gave him sannyas and told him to travel and preach. Maharaj personally told me this. He said, then I gave my Shaligram Chilas to qualified devotees, and now I am traveling and preaching. But throughout his life as a brahmachari, he used to cook, offer it to his Shaligrams, and only eat that much, nothing else. So many times this feeling comes when our tongue has not been chaste. We have eaten something that is not Krishna Prasad. So we can take care about that. And another thing we have to be careful is if we have heard some Vaishnav Ninda, some criticism of some devotee, or we have criticized a devotee, that will take us away from our deities. Our deities will be displeased, and a sincere devotee can sense it, that today my deities are displeased with me. They are not very happy with me. So if we hear, we may not criticize, but even hearing is an offense. We should not hear. We should not hear. When Haridas Thakur was beaten in 22 marketplaces, some Vaishnavas who saw him being beaten, they were crying. They said, Haridas Thakur, you are innocent. Why are you being beaten? Krishna, why are you doing this to Haridas Thakur? And Haridas Thakur told them, stop. Don't speak like that. Don't speak like this. I deserve it. What? You deserve it. What have you done? Haridas Thakur said, just few minutes ago when I was in front of the Qazi was criticizing the holy name of Krishna. He was saying, yeah, you are Muslim and you are still chanting these Hindu names of Hindu gods. They are useless. You should not do like that. He said, I heard criticism of the holy name. And because of this, I deserve to be beaten in 22 marketplaces. This was the mood of Haridas Thakur. So we may not criticize, but even if we hear criticism of devotees or blasphemy of devotees, that will immediately take us away from our deities. And a sincere devotee will feel that I am going away from deities. So these are some do's and don'ts. A good sadhana, don't hear any criticism, don't criticize anybody. Eat only and only Radha Govinda Prasad as far as possible. And if we take and we are punctual in our service and we are clean in our service. Deity worship, there are three main ingredients. One is punctuality, one is cleanliness, and the third one is bhav, love. We have to serve them with love. We have to serve them punctually. Every day, same time, we should serve them. And we should serve them with cleanliness. I remember Devoti Mataji when I had Shaligram Shilas around, it was 2010. I used to worship them. I used to chant my rounds in the morning. Then I used to go to the hospital, do my work. And evening, I used to come back, then have dinner, spend time with the kids and everything. And then I would take a bath and then do puja at night. Because morning I had to go to the hospital. So I had a choice. Either I can chant my rounds in the morning or I can do puja in the morning. So I chose I will do my rounds in the morning. Puja I will do in the evening. So I used to do puja in the evening. So I remember once one devotee, I will not name that devotee, he will be embarrassed. But one devotee told me that, Prabhu, you should do your Shaligram Seva in the morning. So I started justifying. I said, no, but in Prabhupada Lilamrit also we read that Prabhupada would wake up at night and he would see his father ding, 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 worshipping Radha Govinda in the house. So Prabhupada's father, Gaur Mohan, also used to worship his deities at night. So this devotee chastised me. Actually, I will tell you who this devotee is. This devotee is my mother-in-law, Shweta Ganga Mataji. So she chastised me. She said, Arey, he used to worship, Prabhupada's father used to worship Radha Krishna at night, but he used to worship in the morning also. She told me that you should not disturb your Shaligram Shilas at night like this. Because at night, Krishna has Ras Leela. So you should not disturb Krishna at night. You should worship in the morning. So I said, oh, good. So Ras Leela. So therefore, I'm bathing Krishna and getting him ready for Ras Leela. So like this, sometimes we can justify. But then, my Shiksha Guru, Mukundat Prabhu, he strictly chastised me and told me, no, you are not to worship them at night. You must worship them before you go to your work. So then I started waking up early. So I can do chanting also and I can do puja also before I go. So generally I try to do it. Sometimes I fail. But deity worship should be done with punctuality, with cleanliness, wearing proper clean clothes with tilak and everything. And it should be done with bhav as far as possible, with love. So if we do like this and our eating is controlled, our chanting is regulated, regular, and we don't hear any Vaishnava Ninda or criticize any devotees, then this will never happen. We will feel more and more sweeter and sweeter relationship with our deities, And not only that, our deities will give us tremendous realizations. And we should never share those realizations with anyone. Otherwise, they will go away. So deities will reciprocate like anything. They will answer your prayers. They will reciprocate. They will protect your bhakti. You will develop a more and more intimate relationship with your deities. They will reveal such secrets. But we should always keep them in the heart. We should never speak them publicly or to anybody. Otherwise, immediately it will be gone. So just this care can be taken, Mataji. Is that okay?
Prabhuji, thank you. Yes, Prabhuji, this is so much. I will remember this, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Vatsala Mataji. Sorry
Hare
to keep you
Krishna,
waiting.
my humble pranam, no problem. Prabhu, I think a lot of things when you were talking to the other devotee, you clarified a lot of things in me too. The thing is, I want to make sure that I heard it right. Thakur Haridas was like a incarnation of Brahmaji or
Yes.
Krishna?
Brahma.
Brahma, okay. And Advaita Acharya was the incarnation of Shiva and Krishna? No,
He was a combined incarnation of Vishnu, Mahavishnu, Karanodakshaya Vishnu, and Sadashiv, Lord Shiva. He was a combined incarnation.
Okay, and then one more thing you said, one more thing. I don't know whether I wrote it down correctly.
Srivas Thakur?
Srivas Thakur.
Srivas Thakur is Narada Muni.
Okay, Narada Muni. Okay. Thank you. Another question, little question, because you said when you are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you can do it anywhere because the mantra cleanses everything. So is it, sometimes we don't have to take bath or something, or am I understanding clearly?
Yes, Vatsala Mataji. For Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there is no rule. You can chant anytime, but for Gayatri Mantra, one has to take bath and be.
That was my question, because we don't want to misread, because I do have Shaligram Shila, so
so when we go near the Shilas, when we touch the Shilas, or when we do Gayatri Japa, one must be clean. So there are two types of Japa, Vatsala Mataji. There is Nam Japa and there is Mantra Japa. Mantra Japa is generally referred to Gayatri mantras that are chanted. For that, there are strict rules and regulations. It has to be done in a clean condition at a particular time of the day. But as far as Hare Krishna Mahamantra is concerned, which is Krishna Nam, there are no rules and regulations. Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti Tatrarpita Niyamita Smarane Na Kalaha. There are no rules, hard and fast rules for chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You can chant it anytime. But the Sankhya, the quantity of japa that we have decided, like for most devotees, it is minimum 16 rounds. The quantity of japa that we take a sankalpa for, I will chant so many rounds every day. That sankhya, that quantity should be done after bathing with tilak, with proper tulsi japamala, in a sitting posture, in a pure place on an asan in front of Krishna. So our 16 rounds should be chanted after having bath, wearing tilak, clean clothes, and properly in a sitting position as far as possible. Now, because of health, if we are not able to sit and chant, then we may walk or stand, but that is exceptions. Most of us can easily sit and chant for 2 hours or 1.5 hours. So the 16 rounds have to be done properly. And those who are not doing, if you do it like this, within 2 days, you will realize the difference. If we take a bath, we put tilak, we wear clean clothes, we sit on an asan in front of Krishna in a sitting posture, we chant our 16 rounds, remembering the 3 P's that Bhurijan Prabhu writes in his Japa book. Good posture, good pronunciation, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and a prayerful heart, a prayerful mood. 3 P's. Posture, pronunciation, and prayerful mood. If we do it like this, 16 rounds, then we will immediately see the difference within a day or two in our spiritual consciousness.
Okay.
16 rounds should be done very good, but more than 16 rounds, whatever we chant extra rounds, that if not possible to chant like this, then we can chant it anyhow. There are no rules and regulations. Only thing is, if you are chanting on tulsi beads, at least our hands should be clean. We can chant. And even if you don't have a Japamala, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra can be chanted and should be chanted everywhere. Even when we are taking a shower, we should chant. When we are walking to the parking lot or doing grocery shopping or whatever we are doing, folding the laundry, either we should be hearing a lecture at that time or we should be chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So Mahamantra we should be chanting constantly. There is no problem. In Chaitanya Charitamrita also it is mentioned when Rupa and Sanatan Goswami went to meet Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu noticed that their tongue is constantly moving, their lips are constantly vibrating. So when Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, Rupa and Anupam, when they went to meet Mahaprabhu, they are standing like this in front of Mahaprabhu, but their lips are moving. It is there in the Madhya Leela. Mahaprabhu and Vallabhacharya are commenting, look, their mouths are always moving. They're always chanting Krishna now. So Hare Krishna Mahamantra we should be constantly chanting.
Prabhu, another thing is when we are doing the Gayatri Mantra, I mean, do we do it, well, you know what, we do the, when you are doing the Prasadam offering and all, we have to do all the Mula Mantra and other things. And after that, we have to do the Gayatri Mantra. Is it, I mean, maybe in the morning it's okay. Do we have to take bath every time when we do the Madhyana and then Sandhya time?
We can just do Achaman. Achaman is as good as bath. Morning, of course, we have to have a full bath. But then remaining time, usually Brahmans are supposed to take bath at least twice a day, if not 3 times a day. So for the evening Gayatri, it's better if you have taken the second bath. But for the Madhyana in the afternoon, we can just do Achaman. But if we have answered nature's call, not water, but if you have answered the nature call, the big one, then we must take a bath before we come out, before doing Gayatri.
Oh, and another thing is when we are, massaging Shaligram Shila, can we use any other oil like a rose hip oil or only we can use sandalwood oil or we can use a gardenia or anything?
You can use anything, Mataji, but I will tell you what Krishna likes really. This I asked at the Radharaman temple because Radharaman deity in Vrindavan is a Shaligram. Damodar Shaligram Shila of Gopal Bhatta Goswami that suddenly expanded into Radharaman. So what they use, so basically the oil should be very pure and it should be procured from a very reliable place and there should be no alcohol used in the manufacture of that oil. Sandalwood oil is a favorite of Krishna. Then Kevari, Mogra, and there are a few other oils. I have them. I have to see the name. But these are the favorites of Krishna. Kesar.
Kesar, okay.
So these can be used and like that. So and any oil can be used. What I do, Mataji, is one devotee told me that I can mix, I can directly do with the fragrant oil. Like sandalwood oil can be directly used. But that is usually if you have one Shaligram Shila. But if you have a lot of Shaligram Shilas, then that sandalwood oil is very concentrated. Na? So you cannot really use it. So what I do is I take pure homemade ghee and I mix the fragrant oil in that ghee and then I massage it with that mixture. So it's ghee and fragrant oil.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much for clearing the doubts I had, Prabhu. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Hare Krishna. I think Radhika Mataji has the last question.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for a wonderful lecture. And I feel privileged and blessed and honored to have heard your lecture. It makes, especially when we hear Caitanya Charitamrita from you, it is just so good, Prabhu, so nectarian. And thank you for that. Prabhu, you did talk about Prana Pratishtha. And you brought up the point that the Shaligram Stilas, you don't need it and they are naturally. How about the deities that we have, Prabhu? Not that everybody has the blessing to get Guru Maharaj's blessings, for Prana Pratishtha. We just buy it from a store and we have the deities at home. I was just wondering what your take on that. And I've heard from other lectures, I believe, that the more you chant the glories of the holy names of the Lord, the more you chant, that vibration will soon go to the deities, and the deities would then have the power. I mean, I just wanted to hear from you what your thoughts are on that, and then I do have some more questions.
So our scriptures say that ideally prana pratisthapana has to be done, ideally, but like you rightly said, it is not always possible. So at least we should have few things. We should have the blessings of one's guru to worship the deity. When we procure the deity from a store, we should at least have blessings of our Guru Maharaj, either Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru, to worship the deity. And therefore, so many devotees, when they have Radha Krishna or they have Gaur Nitai deities, they request their Guru Maharaj to name the deity. So by naming the deity, the Guru Maharaj is also giving permission, empowerment, blessings to start seva of Krishna and Radharani. So that is one. Secondly, we can invite devotees home and we can have Nam Sankirtan. Srila Prabhupada had said in Krishna Balram temple, when the installation ceremony took place, lot of yajnas and this and that was there. But Prabhupada said that the real prana pratisthapana of Gaur Nitaya, Krishna Balram and Radha Sham Sundar happened when the devotees did Nam Sankirtan. So Naham Tisthami Vaikunthe Yogi Nam Hridaye Shua Yatra Gayanti Madhubhakta Tatra Tisthami Narada. So Narad, I don't take so much pleasure being in the hearts of the yogis. I don't take so much pleasure being in Vaikuntha. As much pleasure as I take in being in that place where my devotees come together and they chant my name, chant my glory. So wherever there is Nam Sankirtan, Krishna is present, especially Gaur Nitaya are present. Sankirtanaika Pitaro Kamalayataksha. We just chanted that mantra, that they are the inaugurators of the Harinam Sankirtan movement. So you can at least invite devotees and have Nam Sankirtan, have Krishna Katha. And in that way you can, you are a sincere devotee, you can pray to your deities to manifest in your house. And in this way you can worship. So permission of the Guru, ideally naming by the Guru, blessings of the Guru, and Nam Sankirtan. With this, you can worship them.
Okay, Prabhu. And another question is, so ladies, can they do worship Shaligram Shilas? Can ladies?
Yes, yes. I can share the verse with you. There is a verse in Padma Puran that even ladies can worship Shaligram Shila. Traditionally, it is said that, because there is one verse in Skanda Puran where it is said that they cannot. But then Padma Puran says you can. Matajis can, ladies can. So, but the biggest proof is our acharyas, because our acharyas, especially Srila Prabhupada, he specifically engaged ladies, Matajis, in the service of the deities. So I asked this question personally to Jananivas Prabhu. 2015, Jananivas Prabhu came to our home, blessed us with his divine association. So we had Shaligram Shilas that time, of course. So I requested Jananivas Prabhu to identify them, name them. So he did that. And then I asked him how to worship. So he told me how to worship. And then I asked him that my wife is there, my mother is there, my mother-in-law is there. So can ladies also worship Shaligram Shilas? So he said yes. Jananivas Prabhu personally told me yes. He said it is the birthright of every human being to worship Krishna. And Shaligram Shila is Krishna. So he said, who can take away the right of a devotee to worship Krishna? Jivera Swarup hai Krishna Nitya Das. Kasturi Radhika Mataji is the eternal servant of Krishna. So who can stop you from worshipping Krishna? Nobody can stop. It is your birthright to worship Krishna. And Jananivas Prabhu said that this is the statement of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He also said that ladies can worship Shaligram Shila. Ladies can worship Krishna. It is your birthright to worship Krishna. Mirabai worshipped Krishna. Giridhari. So everyone can worship Krishna. There is no problem. Janava Mata, in our own parampara, Nityananda Prabhu's consort, she worshipped Radha and Krishna. So yes, definitely. And of course, we have the example of Ganga Mata Goswami. She went to Jagannath Puri and she was worshipping Sarabhama Bhattacharya's Shaligram Shilas. Direct proof that ladies can worship Shaligram Shila. Ganga Mata Goswami, she went to Jagannath Puri from Vrindavan, and she renovated the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had Shaligram Shila that he himself had worshipped, and it was lying without any proper worship. And Gangamata Goswamini herself started worshipping that Shaligram Shila and re-established the proper service of that Shaligram Shila. So certainly you can worship Shaligram Shila. But Jananivas Prabhu told me only one thing that I should not do in the worship of Shaligram Shila. He warned me. He said, you can worship, your wife can worship, your mother can worship, your mother-in-law can worship, everybody can worship Shaligram Shila. But just don't do one thing. He said, don't ever, ever, ever ask your Shaligram Shila for any material benediction. Don't ask for anything material. He told me. So just I wanted to share that with you.
Wonderful, Prabhu. Wonderful realization.
Prabhu, can I interrupt?
Yes.
Because I was telling you, my father was worshipping Shaligram Shila, and I watched him when I was 3 years, 2 years, 4 years, and all. He wouldn't let it. He would open the box and all, but he would never let us do anything. I was so upset. I told you when he passed away in India, I wanted to get it, but he would never let us go near it. That was I was always longing for something I wanted to worship at that time. But that's what I was telling Mataji. In those days, they were telling we are not allowed to worship because, we were not clean as young ladies or something, we were not clean enough to go near Shaligram Shila. And only men were allowed to do that. I think that later on, what you are saying, Srila Prabhupada said, we are allowed to do. I think, yeah, we have every right to worship Krishna. We want to love Krishna as much as possible. So I think this happened, I think, because of our deeper love for Krishna. Maybe he fulfilled it after a long 50, 60 years of, being there, wanting to do something. And, Krishna was merciful enough, kind enough to do something for me. And that is his grace alone. Thank you, Prabhu. I just wanted to share with the Mataji that.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, I have 2 more questions. Is it okay to ask, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
So with regards to these personalities that you were talking, Haridas Thakur, Prahlad Maharaj, everybody, Prabhu, you talked about their internal mood versus what we see them externally. So Krishna, he does that for multiple reasons, for us to understand how a devotee should be and how tolerant in spite of dualities they react in a certain way to glorify bhakti, and also to protect the confidentiality of bhakti, because otherwise people would think that, okay, these people, because of bhakti, they don't get any kind of miseries. I mean, to protect the confidentiality, you can have this pastimes be revealed to us. Any other reason, Prabhu, as to glorify devotees, obviously, and what other reasons that we could try to understand? Again, mood, bhav, all that you spoke about, but I just wanted to see if there are any other internal meanings that I'm missing out that I should be aware of when we...
Hare Krishna.
Considering that we should obviously forget the fact they are Nitya Siddhas, because for pastime's sake, we have to learn lessons. And again, we should not say they can do it, we can't. So that's why I say we have to ignore the fact that they are Nitya Siddha. So just wanted to see if you have anything further to add on which I'm missing.
There was once a devotee, very, very advanced devotee, and he used to worship Shaligram Shilas on the bank of Ganga. Very, very sincere devotee. He used to sit on the banks of Ganga and worship his Shaligram Shilas. He would chant his japa in front of his Shaligram Shilas. Very, very advanced devotee. And one day suddenly 9 people came with sticks. Not 1, not 2, not 3. 9 people came with sticks. Maro, maro, maro. And started hitting this sadhu. And he was like, they started beating him. He said, wait, why are you beating? So they were not answering. He said, okay, you want to beat me, but just give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. He said, okay. They stopped. He sat down in meditation and he prayed to his Shaligram Shilas. He said, my dear Shaligrams, please tell me what is my offense. What have I done that all these 9 people are coming and they are just hitting me at the same time with sticks? What have I done? Please tell me. because he was very advanced. He had that relationship with his deities. Like I was telling Devavati Mataji, after some time we developed that relationship with deities. So he had that relationship with deities. He could talk to them. So like we have our Varadraj in South India. And he had a very great devotee, Kanchipurna. He used to talk to him, talk to Varadraj, Shri Varadraj. So this devotee used to talk to his Shaligrams. So he went in his meditation, he prayed to them and he asked them, what did I do wrong? So Krishna spoke to him. Krishna said, you have committed some offenses in your previous life. And the punishment for that is that you have to take 9 births and get beaten up in 9 lifetimes severely. That is the penance you have to go through to atone for your sins. But I am so merciful to you that these 9 people are going to beat you to your death. But instead of taking 9 births to get beaten up 9 times, you will get beaten up only once. And now in my presence, when you leave your body, I am here to take you back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, be quiet and just take the beating. In few minutes, you will be with me in the spiritual world. So this devotee folded it and said, beat, maro, beat me. So we learn, it's a true story. So we learn from this that sometimes when we come to Krishna consciousness, our problems increase, isn't it? Devotees have that experience. Sometimes I was better off before coming to Krishna consciousness. I was at least happy, enjoying. But after coming to Krishna consciousness, so many difficulties have started coming. So what happens is, this is mentioned by Rupa Goswami, when we start chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is so powerful. Kali Kalmasha Nashanam Natah Paratarapaya Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate Iti Shodashakam Nama. These 16 names in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra are so powerful that when we start chanting it, Lord Brahma starts preparing his Aarti plate to offer Aarti to us. Why? Because he knows for Brahma, few moments is our lifetime, right? One moment he got Krishna's friend, it was 1 year on earth. So Brahmaji knows that in few years this person is going to die and he is going to go back to Vaikuntha. So as we go to Vaikuntha, we have to go through Brahmalok, Brahma's planet. So when a devotee becomes perfect by chanting Hare Krishna and goes back to Godhead, as that devotee is going, he or she is going in the Vaikuntha airplane like Dhruv Maharaj went, Brahmaji offers Aarti to that soul. That from my Brahmanda, this Brahmanda that I created, now you are free. You are going. So before you go, let me offer your Aarti. Please convey my regards to Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna when you go there. So when we start chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Brahmaji starts preparing his Aarti plate. Rupa Goswami writes this in Padyavali. Verse is there. So what happens is, because a devotee takes sincerely to Krishna consciousness, all the prarabdha karma, all the sinful reactions that the devotee has to suffer, most of them are destroyed by the power of bhajan. But we have to understand, Radhika Mataji, think about this. Right now, Brahmaji is 50 years old. One day of Brahma has got 14 Manus. One Manu has 71 Divya Yugas. So there are 1000 Divya Yugas in one day of Brahma. And in this way, same duration of night. And then again day. And there are 360 days in a year of Brahma. So one day of Brahma is millions of years. And he lives for, he is 50 years old now. He lives for 100 years. He's 50 years. That means in this particular universe, you, me, Ajinkya Prabhu, Mukta Sangha Prabhu, Ramsham Prabhu, Devavati Mataji, all of us, we have been in this Brahmanda for 50 years of Brahma, which means how many Kali Yugas, how many Satya Yugas, how many Treta Yugas, countless, millions and millions of births you and me have taken, and we have committed all possible sins. Okay. Think about it. So we have got a huge Mount Sumeru like karma to pay for before we go. But by the power of Nam Bhajan, all the sins are destroyed. But few sins Krishna mercifully keeps for us to suffer, so that we remain humble, like you said. And therefore, now because most devotees who take sincerely, in 1 or 2 lifetimes, they want to go back to Godhead. So those millions and lifetimes worth of karma has to be compressed and given to the devotee in 1 or 2 lifetimes. And therefore, we see that when we come to Krishna consciousness, sometimes our problems increase because that karma is getting burnt very rapidly. And when we see people who are not devotees and they are enjoying because they have committed pious activities and they are simply reaping the benefits. For example, if you get a gift card, $100 gift card, as long as the $100 are there in that gift card, you can spend. You can spend. Nobody will stop you. But what will happen when the $100 are used and you swipe it? It won't work. Similarly, when our pious credits are exhausted, we cannot enjoy anymore. And then we have to pay for the sins that we have committed. Then that sin debit card starts. Yamraj starts swiping it. And we have to pay for different sins. But for a devotee, Krishna mercifully gets rid of most of the karma. Only little bit is left, which we require. Because like you said, if devotees never suffer, then people will become devotees to get freedom from suffering. But that is not love. Krishna is hungry for love. So therefore, some sufferings we have to go through, but we should understand that it is just a token punishment. Just a token punishment. Like 9 lifetimes he had to be lynched to death, this Brahman. But what happened? 9 people just came, robbers, somehow they just came and they beat him to death in 1 lifetime. He was released. Like that. So it's just a token punishment that devotees get. And this, we should have complete faith. We should have complete, because this is the truth. This is the truth. We have to, all the karma is compressed in 1 lifetime. And therefore, we see sometimes devotees going through sufferings. But we should take shelter of Krishna when we suffer. If we don't take shelter of Krishna, then we will not be released. So that is important.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. And one last question, Prabhu. So we were talking about union and separation, and how a devotee can have a union in separation, and even though he's externally affected by certain circumstances. Just was hearing a Hari Parshad Prabhu's class where he was saying that as a devotee, we're not going through separation because there has never been a union to start off. And what we are as a devotee going through is just trying to hanker and desire to get the association of Lord, to hanker to see him, because we have probably seen him millions of births before, and now because of this entanglement, we lost the sight. And so there is no union, but just hankering, and that hankering has to intensify. So in the case of, in case where you brought up this point of union of Paramatma, and us just trying to understand, Radhanath Maharaj always quotes that a purified soul is able to see Paramatma in his heart, and he can feel the inspiration from Paramatma. So just was trying to contemplate on these 2 things as to how to perceive the information, and obviously just wanted to hear your thoughts, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
No, both are correct, Mataji. So see, it is not that we have fallen down from Vaikuntha. Nobody falls down from Vaikuntha. Yam prapya na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Once you come to my abode, you never fall. A brahma bhuvanaloka punaravartino arjuna mam uppetatu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate. So once we go to Krishna lok, we never come back. So what Hari Parshad Prabhu is saying is correct. Because we have never fallen down from Vaikuntha. We have never really been with Krishna. So there is no question of Vipralambha. There is no question of Vipralambha. Radharani can feel Vipralambha. We cannot feel Vipralambha. So that is true. But even in our sadhak avastha, even in our situation right now as a practicing devotee, when we are in front of Radha and Krishna in the temple, when we are in front of Radha Madhav or Radha Shamsundar or Radha Raman, we feel a certain attachment to them. We feel a certain union with them because we are with them. The Nam Sankirtan is going on. We feel attached to our deities, whoever our Ishtadev is. It may be Ranganath. It may be whoever our Lord is. We feel a certain connection and we commit ourselves to that form of Krishna. And when we are away from that form, we feel that separation in a sadhak avastha. It is not the Vipralambha that a self-realized devotee feels, who actually has had face-to-face relationship with Krishna. But the separation that I am talking about is in our sadhaka avastha. Whatever little relationship we have developed with our Ishtadev, it is separation from that. In a devotional sense, that is also real, because our Ishtadev is real and our affection for the Ishtadev is also real. And we may feel some separation, we may feel that feeling, oh, I have lost my Ishtadev, oh, when will I see Radharaman again? And then we go to Facebook and we go to Radharaman temple Facebook page and we keep looking at darshan, oh Radharaman, when will I stand in your aarti? When will I be with you again in Vrindavan Dham? When will I bring you flower garlands and offer it to you through your pujaris? When will I attend your aarti? When will I sing for you? Oh Radharaman, when will I come back to Vrindavan? That in the sadhaka avastha, that what we feel, that is also a glimpse of hankering. You can call it hankering, you can call it separation, but it is very real, and Krishna accepts it. Krishna accepts it. Technically, we may call it by different names, Vipralamba, separation, hankering, but the feeling is that we want, my sweet Lord, I really want to see you, like George Harrison sang. We want to be with Krishna. It may not be Yugaitam Nimeshena Chakshusha Pravrishayitam Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahena. That Mahaprabhu can sing in the mood of Radharani. That avastha, that situation may not be there with us, but at least we can cry out that Krishna, I want to be with you. And Krishna accepts that. Rupa Goswami calls it laulyam, greed to get Krishna. Unless we have that greed, we have that desire, we will never get Krishna. And that laulyam, that greed comes when we associate with devotees who share that fire, who share that fire of devotion. So therefore, we have to associate with sincere devotees. Is that okay, Mataji?
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much for patiently answering. I'm sorry for taking your time, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, sorry, devotees. It went very late today. Very grateful.
Thank you, Prabhu.
And your patient listening.
Thank you very much.
Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai
Jai Gaur Premanand.
Hare.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Prabhu. Explain
Hare
everything so
Krishna.
beautifully. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Koti Namaskaram.
Hare.
Dandavat, Prabhu.